Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, guys. Here is Piotr. It's my pleasure to be with you here, I'm preparing pre-Bank of Japan trading plan, right, for the Liteforex Global YouTube channel. Yesterday, if you remember, if you haven't seen, then you have to get back to the archive section of the Liteforex Global YouTube channel and check it. Yesterday I prepared trading plan for the euro dollar and dollar yen, so meaning that the main yen pair been already discussed, and we are going to discuss other yen crosses. Why? Simply because we do have Bank of Japan rate decision during the next Tokyo session, so it's going to be quite important event. So we are going to go through a few other yen crosses to check what we can expect. So without further delay, let's go straight into the first one. And the first one is Australian dollar versus Japanese yen. If you remember, we were discussing quite a few times my approach, right? I've started to trade a few days ago, right? Then was the first attempt to create swing high, if you remember, right? Which has been broken last Thursday, all right? But looks like there is another swing high attempt, so quite okay. Basically, the trade is based on what we discuss when it comes to the left side, so some kind of the over under. So I've been waiting for this deep pullback, so retest right now it's like over under retest, and that's why I'm sitting short here with very tight stop. It's a little bit different to what we lately discussed with the or yesterday with the dollar yen, because there in the dollar yen we had the breakout which holds above previous supply. Here a little bit different. I'm holding short and I'm looking for lower levels. Overall I'm looking for first level close to 74 and 72.50, right? And finally I'm looking for 71.50, 71. So that's how the things looks like with the Aussie yen. Now lately, if you remember, we discussed this as well. I've been quite negative when it comes to the British pound, all right? And here we have pound versus yen. As you can see, we had the gap down, all right? There was an attempt to close the gap and looks like we closed that gap. So let's have a look what we have here on the pound yen. So that's the daily chart, right? Let's zoom a bit. So what we have, the latest move to the upside, hit some stops, all right, over here. We hit some stops like this, all right? Now, with the strong rejection over the course of last few days, all right, we move back below that level. So for me, right here, right now, that's the main supply zone based on the daily chart. In that case, we are talking about the levels between 140, 480, 140, 660. Of course, lately the pound was a bit of volatile, so that's why the range is a little bit wider. But that's the last supply I see. Now, also I see some levels a bit lower, right? First one is preparation for the eventually swing high. In that case, I'm talking about the levels close to 144.40, 144.50, right? It's also related to the base of the breakout candle, right? To the base of the breakout candle. As you can see, if we are going to extend the line, right, it's here. So the nice rejection we've seen some time ago, nice rejection we've seen in combination of Thursday, Friday, and it's working fine, right? So the nearest supply ahead of the Bank of Japan is around this level. So let's switch lower and let's create a trading plan for the pound yen here, right? The Thursday price action is quite important. Those two levels, right? And as you can see right now, right here, we are trying to hold below the first lower shadow, right? I wouldn't be surprised, and I would be great to see a little bit higher level towards 130, 143.50, right? With the possibility to trade with the stop above the swing high, right? Okay, or so that might be the first attempt, okay, to the short side from the intraday perspective, and the second one might be here between 44.15 and 44.30 with tight stop above. All right, so that's from the intraday selling perspective. But if you are a bull, right, if you are a bull, then I would say a little bit of the patience is needed. All right, 142.50, taking into the consideration how many times the price reacted here, all right, taking into the consideration that market may want to look for some liquidity just under 42.80, right? So that could be the solution if your bias is to the upside. Okay, so to the downside, we are talking about levels close to 43.50, and then again above 44. To the upside, 42.50 with very tight stop, and trying to visualize this, right? I would like to see action with the lower shadow, right? In that case, the color of the body is not that important, but this type of the price action, like here lower shadow, some lower shadow here, same what we've seen last Thursday, right? This type of the price action around this level, that would tell me that okay, bulls got the chance. Okay, and the last one we are going to discuss is a Canadian dollar versus yen ahead of the Bank of Japan and Bank of Canada. All right. Here we've seen the break to the upside, all right, but still, if you remember, maybe that's gonna be better. If you remember this Niagara fall to the downside, right? Okay, still may work as a possible supply. So let's have a look what we have, where we are. So that's what I've been talking about. All right, been tested here. Okay, so those two creating the supply around this over under. So I'm going to take into the consideration the whole zone here and here, and we are very close, right? So in that case we are talking about the levels above 84.70, all right, as a possible possible supply. In case you are a bull here, I think would be smart to wait for a little bit deeper pullback. What I mean by that, that was the latest consolidation ahead of the breakout, so I would wait for some levels below 82.20. So trying to summarize, CAD yen pushed higher, rejection, that's short setup. In case of the move to the downside, right, you want to see levels close to 82.20 or maybe a little bit below, okay, and you want to see the rally from here. I'm going to make the update if necessary over the course of the day, and of course we are going to discuss the price action post Bank of Japan, but tomorrow. Thank you very much, guys. Don't be trapped ahead of the Bank of Japan, and see you around. Thank you and goodbye.